The focus of our research project was on collaborative problem solving using technology in math and science.
What we're trying to find out in this project is whether using collaborative online problem solving strategies can increase student involvement in and engagement in problem solving, and whether or not it actually produces tangible positive results in their ability to problem solve.
We also wanted to see if they could take these strategies and apply them individually after working in a larger group. One of the biggest factors that we had to consider for implementing this project was what kind of technology we were going to use. At Beachy Cove Elementary, we have just received a class set of iPads, and we also have Wi-Fi in our school, so that was a big advantage for us. We just had to find the right app. We chose to study Edmodo.
Edmodo is an app and a website that's free to use, targeted at teachers in the primary elementary school environment. It looks very similar to Facebook, so again, a platform that people are very, very familiar with, generally speaking. It allows a teacher to organize groups of students, present them with questions, tools like polls, surveys, assignments, that sort of thing, grade their work. It's a place where students can use as a Dropbox for their assignments and projects. They can post pictures, video, links. It's very versatile. Another big thing we had to do, because we were going between two different grade levels, finding the common threads that go through the K-6 math program.
We used a unit that we knew was very similar in content in grade 5 and 6, so we chose to do most of our problem solving around fractions and multiplication.
What we're doing today is the third iterance of the group problem solving activity.
Students have already collaborated on their answers, and now they're formulating a group response to then present to their peers. There is not one right solution in our action research project, and the kids really enjoy that. They enjoy presenting their different solutions, and they feel comfortable because they're using their interests, they're using their strengths to formulate an answer that they don't feel, they're not afraid to present to their peers.
The big thing that I've been noticing as well is the value in providing novelty and a bit of uncertainty to students in their learning. If you look around the classroom, students feel so much more involved and valued when every single little thing they do is providing a tangible value to a small group or a large group and that kind of thing. It's amazing how quickly that builds into a much more confident student.
And they're relating real life problems to math, which they really accept those challenges, and that's something really great to see as a teacher in problem solving.
The initial stage for us was to get information from the students, collect data in two different ways. The first one being their attitudes toward problem solving and their assumptions about themselves and about problem solving in general, the way they understood it. And the second one asking about concrete knowledge, saying, do you know how to do this? What strategy might you use? And also gauging their comfort with technology in case that became a factor. Following up on that, our initial thing was to do a pen and paper test. One single question that we thought was about their level, and assessed their initial baseline.
We used the information we had gathered initially to group our students, whether it was based on their comfort in technology or their specific level in math. And we gave them problems that would be just above their difficulty level that they would need to work together and solve. We modeled our own expectations, but then also asked them what strategies they would like to use, and we recorded that via technology and just with our own notes.
For the numerator or the denominator? Wait, say that, wait.
In terms of our data collection, a lot of it was centered in Edmodo. The reason being it's very versatile in terms of what data you can link to it, embed in it. It has infinite amount of storage that you'd never come close to that ceiling. It also archives very efficiently, orders things chronologically, separates them into subsets, it's searchable. So basically anything we've done or the students have done, we've just asked them, please put it on Edmodo.
In addition to having the students collaborate on Edmodo, the teachers have been able to collaborate on Edmodo as well, so we can do informal and formal assessments and actually upload them in a private group just for the teachers so that we can assess and evaluate our next steps in the process. So a lot of the other traditional forms of observation and pictures that teachers might take can now be going on Edmodo. So Edmodo is kind of encompassing all our normal teacher observation and assessment notes into one convenient space. We know we've answered our research questions through our observational notes and as well as all the data collection that we've done on Edmodo. It's also the experiences of our children. Like, they've told us again and again what a positive experience they're having. And the fact that they can work together and they're comfortable answering the questions, that shows us that the children were successful in collaborative problem solving using technology like Edmodo to come up and formulate the responses.
I think it's very much a combination. I was initially concerned how are we going to balance the quantitative data that we're obviously going to have. We know that because we know when we're going to give it and what we'll get back, but the qualitatively, what's it going to look like? And just as a teacher, it's that sort of soft science of looking around your classroom and saying, well, okay, these are engaged students. They are students who care about what's going on right now. They're obviously involved in this. They're vocalizing that. They're showing it. They're mixing a social environment with work, which is always very nice to see.
It's a really exciting process for us and as well for the students because like we said, it's just so exciting to have the kids come in every day ready to accept a challenge and ready to learn from each other. The students who I thought didn't like math or had some negative connotations with math have actually come out of this project learning to love problem solving and working together. And they've actually said things to me like, oh, Madame, I've become a better problem solving. Oh, I like this kind of math.
Through the process of action research, I've definitely become more reflective about my teaching practices. So actually every day, now that I have this process I'm going through where I'm going through tangible products, connecting it directly to things I've done, has really made me think much more frequently and much more actively about, okay, what am I doing? Why did I do that? Is that worth doing? Yeah. Especially because with the format of a collaborative problem solving where you're pushing the students and encouraging the students to constantly ask questions. Why is this like this? Give this person feedback. It's provoke them to ask more questions. Well, so it's definitely, I'm learning a huge amount about good practice in terms of asking questions that are worthy of my students' time.
And what I've learned, it's nice to share these reflections with others. Like, I'm forcing myself to reflect on how I could change my practices to better meet the needs of my students. But at the same time, I'm gaining so much more from being able to reflect and collaborate with Sam and with my other co-teacher during this whole process. So I'm kind of asking myself to do the same things that I'm asking my students, to ask questions, to actively engage and reflect on my learning and how will that better my learning.
I think action research as a form of professional development is great. I think it's great because it's active and it's demanding of the teacher as a professional. It's demanding intellectually, it's demanding of your time, it's demanding in a lot of different ways, and it forces you to sort of hold your feet to the fire and say, okay, but why am I doing this? But what is this really about? There is no abstract in action research. There is no abstract concept. It's all so real. You're still responsible to the kids in your class, responsible to yourself, to your administrators, to other people you're collaborating with, so it just makes it very real.
You can take a lot of ideas that we've had in theory and put them to practice. It's very hands-on, and it just makes us reflect on the whole process and how we can make it better each time that we participate in an action research project, and how that will look differently each time we implement something in our classroom. It's a really good learning experience.